Welcome to the Understanding by Design training. I'm Tina Harris. I'm one of the A2E2 site coordinators at the DeSoto High School. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to plan for a lesson. So when we use the UbD template to plan for a lesson, there are a few documents that we need to make sure we have accessible. The first thing we need to have is a year at a glance. It's also called a YAG. You can find that in Schoology. In addition to the YAG, you want to have the instructional planning guide, which is also called the IPG. That also is in Schoology. So let's stop for a second. Let's go to ClassLink. And ClassLink is a platform where you can find all the technology resources that the district offers for us. And it's in alphabetical order, so Schoology is right here behind my head over here. So I click onto Schoology, and it sends me here. You need to find the group. Go to groups here, and you're going to find the group that says DeSoto ISD Teaching and Learning Hub. That's here. It looks like this. Here is where Central Office has uploaded a number of resources for us. So we go to resources on the left side here, and you have all this here. So if you're, depending on which grade level you're in, you'll go to your respective folder. So we're dealing with high school. So we're going to go here to secondary high school. Let's pull the 9th grade biology year at a glance first. And see this first folder, it has it right here, year at a glance. I grab that. And I'm looking for biology right here. So I click on that. And the year at a glance, what it does is it literally is that. It just kind of gives you the bare minimum information. When it works. And go out of that and click it again. For some reason, it's not doing it. So instead, I'm going to go and pull this YAG that I pulled earlier. Now, the YAG I pulled earlier is a physics one, but it's still a YAG. And if you notice here, everything is separated by 6 weeks. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And it doesn't give you a lot of information. It just says, hey, during this 6 weeks, you're going to go over these units. And then this is the concept that you're dealing with. And here are the TEKs right here. Now, it's dangerous to only look at the concepts because this doesn't clearly define to you exactly what you need to do with a concept. So this is why we end up, if I want to know which TEKs I'm going to hit, 4A and 4B, that's all I'm going to really cover in the first 6 weeks, I can quickly look at that and find that here. In order for me to really get the information of what I need to do with that concept, I will go back here and go to and get my IPG, my instructional planning guide. And you'll find the instructional planning guide under whatever respective 6 weeks it is. So I'm going to go to the first 6 weeks. And I'm going to go back because I want physics. Go to the first 6 weeks. And here you go. I have the physics IPG first 6 weeks. And I click on that. Let's see if they pull this up. Interesting. Luckily, I pulled this up a little bit earlier today, so I still have it down here. So here is the instructional planning guide or this instructional pacing guide in this case for physics. And whereas the YAG barely had anything, this one is more exhaustive. It has a whole bunch of information. So if I scroll down, I can see all the processing skills that's covered with those particular respective TEKs. And I can see the major concepts kind of identified, the essential questions identified. It breaks it down to the units. And then it goes here to this document. This is the most helpful portion to me. It identifies the TEKs here. It gives you some means of instructional strategies or the instructional method that you can utilize, some formative assessments that you can use to assess the students, your key vocabulary, other strategies to use, and then some live resources. I would like to have I like to have this document on the computer because I want to have access to the links. So whereas I probably have the YAG printed up, I want this instructional pacing guide live so that I can click any link that they may have. But this is a lot of information. If I'm just trying to find out the teaks, I don't really want to go and look at all of this. I'm kind of like Goldilocks. I don't want this. This is a little bit too little and this is a little bit too much. I need somewhere in between. So what I would do is, so now we have the YAG and we have the instructional planning guide. I will get this third document called a snapshot, and I will use that. That's the thing I normally have at the ready for anything. I just have that in my binder, accessible to me at any given moment. To me, it has a balance of not too much, but not too little. And you can find that snapshot in Lead Forward. So I would go to, let me actually put it in. So if I type in Lead Forward, I know it says Lead Forward, but I want you to see when I type it in. It's going to give me this screen right here. So I can go up to the top where it says resources, and that's where I need to be to find the snapshot. Now, Lead Forward has many, many, many things accessible to you, available to you. But what we're going to do is focus on this initial page. And so it tells you the grade level here. I need to find high school. And then the next column is where I find the snapshot for whatever grade level. So I'm going to high school, going to science, and this column. And then it quickly gives me the biology, chemistry, environmental, all those science classes that I have in high school. So I'm going to go to page 14 to go to physics. I'm going to scroll down right here. And here I can see all of these processing skills. And then here I can see the readiness standards versus the supporting standards. This is what I want. I want to be able to look at this. So when I looked at this, it wasn't enough. But I could figure out that that in the first 6 weeks, I'm going to cover 4A and 4B. But what's 4A and 4B? It's not just kinematics in one dimension. I got to know what verbs that the students are responsible for knowing in what context. But when I go to this, the IPG, that's way too much information. So I go to, instead, this snapshot right here. And I can look on here, and I'm looking for 4A and 4B. 4A says generate and interpret graphs and charts describing different types of motion, including investigations using real-time technology such as motion detectors or photo gates. Please, if you're not a science person, don't close your eyes, don't fall asleep. I just wanted to read it out. That's the whole standard. Stay focused. But it tells me, it tells me the verb that the students are responsible for knowing how to do. It tells me the concept, which is graphs and charts, and it gives me parameters. It gives me context. They need to be able to use it in real-time technology. For example, motion detectors or photo gates. That's good to know, especially when I'm trying to determine what labs I need to use or conduct. Now, another thing that Lead Forward provides is called an IQ questions. See, if you're in a tested area or tested content, just looking at that standard doesn't really tell you how they're going to test them, not fully, because you can do so much with that. So if you're in a tested content, what I would suggest you do is to go back to Lead Forward once you look at the standards, and then click up here where it says IQ Release Item Analysis Tool. Because here you can pull any released test question for the EOC or for the STAR for that particular standard. So physics is not a tested area, but we'll pull something up from biology. So I'm going to go to select science, and then my grade level, it would be biology. I'll go to next. I want to pull the standard, the student expectations. Normally there's a box here on Google is acting up. And I'll press next. And then I'm going to choose one of these standards. Let's say I'll choose 4A. I want to say it's homeostasis. I can't remember what it is. Next. And then I want to choose all the tests, all the previous tests up to 2013, because I want to see how they tested from 2013 all the way to 2018. I want to see what they asked them, how they asked them. So then it'll generate this. It tell you exactly that. So it says the TEKS up here. And since the science TEKS was streamlined a couple of years ago, it tells you the old version of it, and it shows you the new version. It gives you the question. Over here, it tells you if it's a support or a readiness standard. If it has a processing skill, a link to it, it will tell you the processing skill. And then it tells you some great information. In the state of Texas, they tell you the percentage of students who actually chose each one of the answers. Now, it marks the correct answer with a star. And this is actually a pretty good response because 73% of the students in Texas in 2018 for this question 40 chose the right answer. So I can, and if I scroll down, I see how it's tested previously. They haven't tested this a lot, apparently. But I can see all the ways that they've tested this particular standard. So that's good to know. But we're dealing with physics today, so we're not going to use that. So we've gathered the YAG. We found that in Schoology. We found the IPG also in Schoology. We grabbed that snapshot from Lead Forward. Because it's not physics is not a tested area, I wouldn't find IQ questions or released EOC questions. So I would just have these 3 documents here. Now, our last 2 documents would be the UbD template and also the collaborative planning agenda that you will have to complete if you're doing this in your collaborative planning time. So those 2 can be found in Schoology, but you'll find them in a different location. So let me go back to Schoology. We finally pulled up the IPG technology. So I will go to groups again, but instead of going to the DeSoto ISD's Teaching and Learning Hub, we're going to go to the high school's group, DeSoto High School. And I click there. Now, this stuff is specific to the high school. If you're in another school, you may not be able to find your documents here for these. I don't even think you need to have the UbD, but I don't know where you will find that at. I know for the high school, it's there. I will go to resources again. And then we at the high school, we've broken things down based on instructional support and operational support. So you have this area right here. When Mr. Joseph, he has newsletters and stuff, so they go there. But instructional support, that's what we want to look for. It says here that it has the planning documents, grading policy, all departmental lesson plans, behavioral intervention plans, and academic plans, APGT dual credit, master schedule, and AB days calendar. So a number of things have been uploaded into this particular folder. Now, if you're looking for more operational kind of things like a directory or any forms that you need to fill out, you can find that how to operate your voicemail. I need to figure that out. You can find that here in this folder. And then it has other folders here too. And A2E2 actually has a folder too. So if you're looking for something specific to A2E2, you can find it here. Please refer back to it. But let's go to the instructional support. Within the instructional support, you have planning documents here. So if I click that, I should be able to find all kinds of information. And one specific thing is the UbD template. I have a UbD lesson plan here. So I can choose pretty much any one of these. I'm going to choose the one that says blank. Let's see if it worked this time. It took a second last time. Okay, it's not working for us, but that's where you'll find it. It'll take a little time to pull it up. Lucky for you, I have the document somewhere else. And also the second thing I will look for is this 2019 collaborative planning agenda. This needs to be completed by the scribe of your collaborative team. So as you guys are progressing through the UbD, answering questions, whoever your scribe is for your group, they'll be taking the minutes, and that's all that is. So let's go back to this PowerPoint. So we're planning a lesson. We need to have a number of documents. What do we need to have? The year at a glance, the instructional planning guide or pacing guide. Both of them can be found in Schoology under the DeSoto ISD Teaching and Learning Hub. And then we also need a content snapshot. We can find that in Elite Four. I like that. You don't have to have that, but I always like to have that at the ready. If you're in a tested area, you need to be able to access the IQ questions in Leap Forward. And then most importantly, you need the template for the UbD and you need your collaborative planning agenda. So those are the documents that you need. For our next portion, we're going to go into what do we do with these documents. So please stick around for part 2.